Well, we have another educational consultant from Amoeba Education online with us, Miss Shubha Srinivas. Hello, ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can.
Yes, ma'am, my first question to you is I want to start with a very basic question. What is the current scenario of the educational institutions right now in India? What is the current scenario? What is it that educational institutions are going through right now across the country?
Okay. So I'll say I would be able to talk about the K12 schools, right?
Yeah.
So I would say it's been a very mixed kind of a thing which is going on. The CBSE international schools, Cambridge schools are able to mitigate the whole situation by completely going in for an online platform and giving a good online learning opportunity to the students.
Yeah.
Whereas when you look at the schools which are affiliated to state boards across India, they are on a deep struggle because they are unable to even get into starting anything with the children because they couldn't even finish the exams. Some of the exams have been scrapped. So what has happened is they are not, the students don't even have the books. So nothing is getting started there. So the state boards are definitely under a huge struggle, and which actually amounts to more than 60% of the schools across India, because CBSE international schools they are more metrocentric, and they are meant for a affluent middle class and above. So there has been a very distinct demarcation that this has brought in, that the rich versus poor, or the affordable versus non-affordable.
Um, yeah. As you've also mentioned that there's a gap and educational institutions are suffering. How serious is this setback how serious is this setback, ma'am, for the students for not having going to their institutions? It's been more than 2 months, and they've been going through online teaching. They've been facing difficulties with examinations or connecting to teachers. Many people suffer from network issues. How serious is this setback? How can we look into it?
Yeah. So the setback is definitely serious because it has derailed our kind of a daily routine.
Yeah, the
So
traditional way of the education.
yes, the toss only happened is probably it came could offset it with a vacation as well,
Yeah.
right? But then definitely it has brought to light the fact that the children are locked up in the houses. Social interaction has been nil, and the learning, in a sense, they're used to learning in a particular way, which is more exam centric, which is so unfortunate. That has completely got upset. So the challenge now is at least the digital divide which is there in the society. Children, parents who have a lot of devices, they are the only ones who can get the online learning happen. But houses where people do not have many devices, and children are not even that savvy enough to get into the platform.
Yeah.
So they are definitely suffering a lot. It's a serious situation. Definitely, everything has come to a standstill. I'm very sure shortly when we open, we are back to school and we will be able to, get back to action. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, as you rightly mentioned that there are some students who cannot get hold of these devices, or cannot have network issues, or probably studying in schools or colleges that are less funded, as we can say. What about those students? What are, as recently we've also heard a case that there was a student in Kerala who could not afford a device and committed suicide because she was not able to access. So there are, this is probably the one case. We know there might be 100.
This is the classic case of digital divide, and this is the way, instead of now being, economically compared and divided, now the children are seeing that I don't have this, so I can't do this. So in such a scenario, children are really getting frustrated. Parents are also, blaming the schools for pushing them into buying this, buying that. Like for instance, some of the schools have gone ahead and said, invest in this, invest in that.
Yeah.
So there is a huge psychological aspect attached to the whole thing. It's not just economic; it is also psychological. So yes, it's a challenge, and everybody, parents, educators, and administrators, everybody is clueless right now how to go about this matter.
As you've said all this, how can we enhance the situation, ma'am? Also, I have a second part for this question. For online teaching, the privacy of the data, how are educational institutions managing the privacy of the data, what they're sharing online?
So one thing which has happened, which is very good, is immediately when the platforms that they were testing, which is Zoom or MS Team. So they were looking at these platforms, and of course Google as a platform.
Yeah.
All the three have now tailor-made the whole thing, except Zoom, which is not looking into it. But MS Team and Google both have got a huge security system in place. So all the schools, majority of schools are on MS Team, that is across India. CBSE schools, they have invested in MS Team or Google Classroom, right? So in such a case, it is completely secure. There is no problem of data. They are also adding Zoom for a direct interaction. Some of the things that can come on Zoom as well. So schools have kind of mixed matched it, but MS Team has been the hit among the whole lot.
Right, ma'am. Also, the fee structure. The fee structure, as KCR has said, he's released a statement saying the admission fee should be reduced, or the fee that the colleges or institutions are charging should be reduced. How is it going to affect, like, obviously parents, it's a good news for parents because they haven't been working or they haven't been doing anything. For the matter of cost, nobody in India has been doing anything. So for them it is a good news. But for educational institutions, for them to handle such a big drop in financially is a huge step that the government has taken here. So how are education?
I'm mentoring a lot of schools, and I'm part of their everything in planning to execution, and I can see that the teachers are working all the more now, right? And if we are saying that there is going to be less of fee taken, it doesn't even justify at all, because schools are investing in digital platform, they are paying their salaries to the teachers, and most of it, the salary itself amounts to more than 70% of the fee amount, right?
Yeah.
So it is a very big ask from the educational institution. Nobody wants to make profit at this time. It is more about sustaining. So educational institutions cannot sustain in case the fee is lowered. They would have to have their protection from the government saying that whatever is there has to be taken. The tuition fee, etc., should be protected. As far as the admission fee is concerned, that is up to I think that part, because right now maybe there are no children moving from A to B schools much, right? So that is not hurting the schools so much. What is hurting them is in case the fee is asked to be revised. That is non-negotiable actually, because they have everything invested, so they cannot actually lower it. The tuition fee that needs to be protected.
Also, my final question to you, ma'am, is how are these entire changes going to affect the academic calendar? Because there are many institutions which are opting for alternate days, or they are putting some people in few sections, bringing some students the other day, or there are also many institutions coming up with solution as teachers working in shifts. Many students may not be able to attend classes because of transportation as well. There are various reasons.
Yes.
How does it affect the academic calendar? Do educational institutions think that probably a little part of their portion should be cut off for this year, or how are they planning it?
So already schools have got together and put their minds and have revised the entire academic calendar when the NCERT guidelines came. So they have already for 1 to 8. grades 1 to 8, it was the prerogative of the school, and schools have slashed 30% of syllabus based on what's required and what's not required, and they have brought down the syllabus already. This is for CBSE schools. SSC schools have yet to begin with such exercise. The second thing is for 9th and 10th, CBSE is already issuing kind of a little notification which is going to come post July first week, when they are bringing down the syllabus for the board exams as well. So everywhere educators have already been told and given a heads up that, the course content has to be revised, and 30% is what has been already looked at as lowering from the existing curriculum.
Right. Ma'am, as we all know, yesterday KCR, Telangana CM KCR has announced that 10th board exams would not be conducted in our state.
Yes.
So what is it that 10th students will do now? How is the grading system going to grade them? How are educational institutions going to grade them? Because board exam is a foundation that they are going to begin their journey with in the education sector. So when they are not even they are not attending the exams have been cancelled. So what is it that they can do right now? How are they going to be graded in the firstly? How are they going to be graded?
So I will say that in a 10th board scenario, the 10th grades are only the grades which kind of let the children choose the right kind of subject area, right?
Yeah.
For their 11th and 12th.
Yes.
It actually is not a kind of a one which is setting some kind of a do or die situation where they have to get into college or something. So 10th board in a larger perspective is a board which is more of confidence building rather than actually making a difference. Let me tell you like that.
Yeah.
So even if we scrap and give the grading based on their pre-board scenario, right, it would still amount to the children making the right decision, going towards what they are good at and what they want to do in future, take up a science stream or a commerce stream or a humanities stream and move ahead. It actually does not make a huge impact. Let me make it clear to you. Right?
Yeah.
I would say yes. The grading depends on the pre-board and the internal marks that they have got. And today, a science student who's got less grade also is able to take the science stream. It's never that the marks are becoming that much of a cut-off kind of a situation. It's not a cut-off situation in India right now across. So taking your right stream depends on your aptitude and your passion and your interest. I think this would not make too much of a difference. I actually say scrapping it in the name of student safety, not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Okay, Ms. Shubha Srinivas, thank you so much for joining with us. You've been really insightful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.